Morning show. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Happy end of May. While we're at it, Spencer Israel, JC Parets, Steve Strazza, Alfonso de Pablos with you this morning. How we doing? Everyone in a good mood? I'm in a good mood. Yeah, we're in a good mood. It's Friday, right? It's Crypto Friday. We're gonna have Louis Sykes on the show. See what's happening in Ethereum land, because Ethereum is the only crypto that matters of late. Apparently, no. Okay, maybe not. Yeah, overnight markets kind of, you know what? They're doing what Steve likes. They're opening down so they can rip higher later. That's what Steve said he likes. So the market is obeying Steve this morning. As far as today's show, we'll have hopefully Alfonso can stop by for a few if he isn't too busy doing 10 other things like he usually does. We might have Riley Roseby hop in for a minute, but it's going to be a casual day. It's casual Friday here on the morning show. So go ahead and drop me a like. If you're watching on Twitter, head on over to YouTube and just hit the like button. I would appreciate that. And JC's here and Steve is here. So enough from me. Let's bring them out. Bring them out. Bring them out.
Yo.
Hey
guys.
What's up?
Man, I got a good one. Today, guys. I don't know if you guys have watched the 1987 documentary, Paul Tudor Jones, The Trader.
Hell yeah.
No,
when was the last time you saw it, though?
Where can one watch this if one was interested?
Funny you should ask. So
they keep taking it down, like it's hard to find.
Yeah, he keeps taking it down. So it came out once. I remember when I was younger, like really young. Here, let me see. Here, I'm gonna drop it in the chat, so you could share it. Must watch. So I remember this must have been 20 years ago, maybe a little bit less, maybe 18 years ago. And Business Insider, of all people, published the documentary. And I remember all of us being like, "Oh shit, I can't wait to watch it tonight." Some of us watched it that night. Some of us did not. I watched it that night. And then the next day they took it down. So you could have only watched it that night. And then over the years it's come back. Like he like bought all the tapes and then like burned them all and like hoped it never like I don't think he looks bad in that. I mean, he's like pounding beers and like trading Deutschmarks and stuff like that, but like whatever. Right?
That's got to be the best documentary on markets, period. It's just different than anything else.
Throw up slide 2 there, Spencer, and then we'll get into state of the markets. It was so good.
Robert Dunning in the chat says he has a copy and watches it all the time.
That's hilarious. So Peter Borish, the guy there on the left. So this was 1987. So think about how long ago that was. Peter Borish. I was on the phone with him on Wednesday. Yeah. I was actually, so this is PTJ's like right-hand guy. And I was on the phone with him on Wednesday preparing for, I'm on a panel with him. Me and Peter Borish. What the hell am I doing on stage with Peter Borish? That's what I want to know.
Michael was telling me that yesterday, JC, and I failed to make the connection that's the guy. That's PTJ's guy from the documentary. Yeah, that's so cool. What is that, Tuesday? When are you doing that?
Tuesday, yeah, New York Athletic Club. Fun fact, last time I was there, I was with John Roque. Why am I always at the New York Athletic Club with like badass people? So I was with John Roque and I was wearing jeans. They didn't let me in. That was the last time I was at that was the last time I attempted to go to the New York Athletic. Throw up slide 3 because this is a funny one. You guys will appreciate this. So this is Peter Borish at the Knicks game last night. Right? And look who else was there. So Peter Borish right behind Spike Lee. So he probably didn't. There's Peter Borish right there. You see him behind Spike Lee with the big finals shirt on. Look all the way in the upper left of that picture. That Novogratz, or I can't tell if that's Novogratz or David Tepper. It could go either way. I'm gonna go with Novogratz because it's an orange shirt. What do you guys think?
It's not David Tepper.
I don't know. I don't know who that is.
It does look like him. You know, John Starks was sitting on the baseline.
You don't think that's Novogratz there on the upper left?
It could be. I don't know.
Dude, that's definitely Novigrad. So anyway, Boris, nice seats for the playoff game. So anyway, I'm on the phone with him the other day, and of course, we're supposed to be preparing for this panel discussion, but we just start arguing about markets instead. Sounds about right.
Mhm.
And he thinks that we are in a regime. Throw up slide 4. He thinks that we are in a regime of higher interest rates.
Hey, that's not the first person we've heard say that.
Not the first person I've heard say that. Yeah, I think it comes down to time frames, and throw up that slide there, Spencer, please. I think it comes down to time frames, and while I'm not going to disagree that we're in a rising rate regime, over the last couple of years, it's just been a choppy mess, and stocks are putting up banner years, like historic returns for stocks over the last couple of years, as interest rates have been sideways. So I think it comes down to two different time frames, right?
I totally agree. As someone who's very familiar with this chart.
Guys, watch the documentary before they take it down again, right? They're gonna take it down. I don't know if they've given up at this point already because the internet is just too fast. But watch it. It goes back in time. You're watching traders, macro guys in the middle of the night trading Deutschmarks, slamming like Schlitz or some kind of cheap beer. It's the 1980s, man. A lot of telephones.
No, it's great. It's real. It's very real.
Yeah. So anyway, I just watched that because I got inspired. I was talking to Peter Borsch. I was like, he's in the documentary, if I recall. I'm going to go back and watch it. As it turns out, like, he's in it the entire time. He is a featured role in that documentary. Highly encouraging.
But he's not. Is he the main other guy or no?
Yeah. He was the co-founder of Tudor.
Right,
and the number 2 guy, yeah, for sure. And he's probably made a couple of bucks. Those are pretty good seats there for the Knicks game.
How about the big cat last night?
How about that? It's called Trader. I think it's just called Trader. Just look up like 1987 PTJ documentary. You'll find it. And then Spencer just dropped the link. So
yeah, it's under an hour. Pretty good. All right.
It's 1987.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
This was before Twitter and podcasts. All right, let's. Sorry,
sure.
I had to share because it's so good, and I know that there's youngsters out there that don't even know this exists, and even old timers like us who've watched it, who haven't watched it in a long, long time. It's so good, so good. What? Zero chance Spencer's ever watched this.
No, but I have it up here, so I'm gonna watch it this weekend.
Yeah, this is great.
Before we get into state of the market, Spencer, any news? Any news? Are you a father yet? Almost.
No, baby.
No. I wouldn't be here. That would be pretty funny if I was here.
Yeah, be like, yeah. She's in labor right now. But nothing stops the morning show. The show must go on.
That's right. No.
Tell her to hold it in there until after the show. All right.
Yeah, it's looking like next week, or maybe even the week after. Honestly,
get your sleep, brother. Get your sleep. That's all I'm saying.
Going. All right, let's see what we got here.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Dow futures down 130 points right now, 42,130 for the Dow. S&P 500 futures down 0.33%, 5,900 even for S&Ps. NASDAQ down about 0.25%. Down 60 handles, 21,350. 30-year bond futures relatively flat, 112.5 there for the 30-year. You got crude oil down 1%, 60 and change. Copper up 0.5%, 470. You got gold down 0.5%, 33.30, with silver flat this morning at 33.40, with the VIX slightly higher, up to 19.5. And then over in funny money land, you got Bitcoin pushing 106,000, up about 0.25% this morning in the overnight session. Ethereum down 0.2%, 2,600 and change. Of course, you got the old Solana, 163, down 2% on the day. Total crypto market cap, Mr. Spencer Israel, 3.28 trillion. What stands out from this morning's futures?
From a future standpoint, does anything stand out?
I think what Strazza was saying yesterday about how he prefers the market to be down and then rally overnight while he's sleeping, as opposed to, going to bed with the market flying and then gave it all up by the morning and then gave it all up throughout the session. So that was yesterday. So I kind of just want to reiterate what happened there. Strazza was spot on.
Yeah, that's right.
What else stands out?
How are we looking with 1 day left in the month? one trading day left in the month.
Have you
It was a
peaked
good
yet,
month.
Strazza, or no? Have you peaked?
It was a really good month.
Have you peaked?
Mm-mm.
I haven't peaked
I
either.
have not. Nope. But it's been a good month for most things.
It
Know
has
that.
been a great month, for sure. South Korea up double digits this month.
Yep.
How do you feel about
Big
that?
week there.
Are we allowed to care about South Korea, or am I just cherry picking countries?
No, but it's a theme. It's not South Korea. What you're talking about is the expansion and participation all around the globe. You know, the weaker regions and countries around the world are literally being dragged higher by the good ones out here. We're seeing it all over, whether it's South America or Southeast Asia or South Korea, right? All these non-participators are joining the party.
I like Steph Eckhart here saying it's almost time for Avalon. I am actually leaving in 10 minutes. So it is officially time for Avalon. I'll be spending the next month there.
It's too early to go to the beach.
No. You'll see when you have kids. You're not there yet. You'll see when you have kids. You want there to be fewer people, right? It's fine.
I guess I'd rather go in like September, I guess, than
we go in September too. That's
Okay.
right. But again, you'll see when you have kids, your weekends are very busy in September, right? Football every weekend, cheer, and then you got all kinds of stuff. So things get busy when you have kids in September.
That's fair.
So keep that in mind.
All right.
So, your Sunday brunch plans. Yeah, think again, buddy. Think again, Spencer. You're in for quite the surprise, my friend.
But I love my Sunday brunch.
Yeah, you'll learn to hate it. You will learn to hate it, and you will like it. Dude, Avalon is awesome, man. Avalon is the food is so good. It's clean, family friendly. Like some parts of the Jersey Shore are so trashy, and just like the people there smell bad, and they just have too many tattoos, and like no thank you. The weird hair all over the place. Avalon. Shout out Avalon. It is a special place. Florida, man, you can attest it's similar down in Florida, right? Like you got, some parts of Florida really suck, and then some parts are great, right?
Yes, I try to be a advocate for the entire great state of Florida, but for sure, I like some
great
places.
State is a strong word. Strong word. Great state.
I don't know why
Florida
you're such a hater.
sucks.
You grew up there.
I grew up in Miami. I didn't grow up in Florida.
Sure.
It's a big difference. Most of Florida is a horrible place. You know that. I don't have to tell you.
I couldn't disagree more.
Oh, come on. Stop it. There are beautiful parts of Florida, but most of Florida sucks. Jersey, on the other hand, there are some parts of Jersey that suck. Newark, for example. But most of New Jersey is actually awesome. Jersey gets a lot of hate.
Yeah.
So most of New Jersey is awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. But all of Florida, except for Miami, is awful.
Nope, that's not true. That's not what I said.
Position. That's your position.
That's not what I said. There are lovely parts on the west coast of Florida. There are lovely parts on the east coast of Florida, and there's shitty parts. Just what it is.
Can we talk about something more interesting than this? Like maybe the Gap, which is down 15%.
I'm buying this one today. Worry Financial.
I mean, Costco had earnings last night. Talk about Costco.
Fuck Costco. Asian banks. Koreans, baby. Dude. Dom's Bogan. Korean barbecue. 32nd Street, 5th Avenue. Get involved. Dom's Bogan. Shout out to Sam Rowe with the recommendation. Dom's Bogan. Korean banks.
Speaking of Asia, Vietnam is up 35% from its lows last month.
We haven't. I don't think Asia's been mentioned on this show for like 2 weeks, maybe more.
That's way too long. And I think you're wrong because I think about it all day.
Yeah, maybe you think about it all day, but because I was looking at Bob like yesterday, or the day before, I was like, hey, this hasn't come up for a minute.
We'll talk about Asia more. You're right, Spencer.
Yeah, gentlemen.
Great chart, JC.
It's a great chart, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't always give myself a lot of credit for making dope charts. This one, however, this one's a good one. I did a good job here, didn't I?
You're really gonna buy this though?
Yeah, you're not?
I'll bet they have a decent yield. I don't know. I'm really, I always felt late to the Japanese banks when they took off. I felt late to these guys. They were working when a lot of others weren't. And even the European banks. They've been tough trades, all these things. I am in plenty of South American banks, though, I'll tell you that. I know.
Chat is on fire this morning. I like how Strazza sounds like Forrest Gump when he says Vietnam. I like it too. One hole. Shout out One Hole. On point there. On point with the comment. Yeah. Chat's on fire this morning. Shout out to the chat. Rachel says most of New Jersey sucks too. That's because you're a New Yorker. You're such a snobby New Yorker, Rachel. Like, you're just stop. That's such a New York thing to say.
4.9.
You're so right so often, but this time you're wrong.
Alleged 4.9% yield on this one on the WF.
Alleged.
Well, I haven't checked.
Why are you saying it like that, Strazza? Like, oh, you're actually going to buy this? Yeah. Why wouldn't I buy this?
First of all, I bet all of you retire in Florida one day, and I don't know. It's just a strange one. I don't think it's a bad idea to buy it. I
want to retire in California.
Oh wait, this is sort of a weird ADR. So one share, not that it matters, but one share of WF is 3 shares of the actual company.
Whatever.
Fun fact.
Yeah, whatever.
I know. I'm just saying.
Like, I'm not against buying it at all.
I know, but you made it sound like you're actually going to buy this. Like, yeah,
I don't know. Dude, wow, 7% yield, so that's a little sketch. I don't know. I would have to take a little.
The higher the yield, the sketchier the stock.
I mean, no, but like this is the story overseas, right? And these numbers could always be wrong. I'm just pulling this up on a free vendor, but 5 times price to earnings ratio, like that's what's going on overseas. So to be like, oh my God, the rest of the world is outperforming the United States for like half of one whole year here for the first time in a decade and a half. It's the end of American exceptionalism, is probably a really bad take. It probably has nothing to do with that. And it's just that stocks overseas are trading at 5 times earnings and paying 8% dividend yields and breaking out of bases like this. So that valuation gap, right, that premium on American equities, makes sense to narrow a little bit.
Can you throw up the junior Hall of Famers?
No,
some people are like, well.
No, stop. I just made a great point. Do neither of you have any opinion on that at all? Why is it that ex-US stocks outperforming has to be the same as the end of American exceptionalism?
It doesn't, but we're not, like, journalists have to just make shit up. That's their job. We don't.
Steve, are you implying that international is a trap?
No, I'm implying that, like, I'm so bullish America and I'm still very much overweight, and more than 50% of my holdings right now are not US stocks. They're ex-US. So I think you can believe in both things.
I don't think it has to be this exceptionalism. I think that this is just like, I think this is just like hyperbole as a prerequisite to journalism. Like, they just need to exaggerate things. Like, it's just not, we don't have to think that way.
Wait, can somebody remind me when the international outperformance actually started?
Like, dude, financial
depends how you quantify it. Like, what are you looking at? ACWX?
Like this year. It's like a this year thing.
That's okay. That's my point. I need at least I need more than 2 quarters, right?
Oh, it literally, Spencer, December.
Okay.
By the time Spencer starts buying international stocks, it's going to be over.
Dude, I own international for the last 9 years.
Hold on, ready? Hold on. This is a good point. So on December the 24th, Christmas Eve, was the exact bottom in ACWX relative to the US. So in other words, the All Country World Index ex-US relative to US. So in other words, the rest of the world versus US, that bottomed on December the 24th. Remember, we were coming into the year saying that the dollar index was, whipsaw city coming and the dollar's going to fall apart. Well, the dollar fell apart coming into the year and international rip. So to answer your question, one way to look at it, Spencer, is December the 24th. A good way to look at it, I think.
All right.
I mean, can you come up with a better way there, Strazza?
No.
I'm sure we got some fancy, equally weighted thing that, Fonz can conjure up. But at the end of the day, it's probably going to be pretty similar.
All Country World is a great index. Do you think this is the top for the U.S. dollar? This is it? Rollover alert?
I don't think it's the top for the U.S. dollar like forever, but I think that it's the top in Bitcoin dominance forever.
It's the end of American exceptionalism. It must be a top forever. It can't just be a top for now.
Yeah, I don't know about a top forever in the dollar, but a top in Bitcoin dominance, I think so. Now, can we please go to the Junior Hall of Famers? Because I want to give props to this scan because it is really awesome.
Good
Because
name in
these
there.
types of names, like a mid-cap South Korean regional bank,
Yeah.
is the type of stock that can easily, fall through the cracks and stay under the radar, right? And in fact, that used to happen to me all the time, which
Not my
is
house.
so we've got the International Hall of Famers, which are the largest 100 companies that are headquartered outside the US but trade on US exchanges. That's the International Hall of Famers. And then that list was so good, we created the Junior International Hall of Famers. And look at those market caps. 30 billion, 17 billion, 12 billion, 11 billion. Like these are the types of market caps that you're going to see in this scan. And there's huge winners coming out of here. So this scan is specifically built so that, these types of names don't fall through the cracks. You got Israeli software in there, and you got Brazilian utilities and Peruvian banks, all kinds of stuff in there. Love it. It's a great scan.
JC, the mix on this list, like everybody just read through these names, like just and look at the country real quick too.
Mhm.
Like the mix of stocks, kinds of stocks, regions, very well represented. It speaks to the really, really solid market internals around the world.
Dude, you
Like
got Canadian restaurants,
every continent is represented, like right.
Mexican airports, of course.
A lot of Brazil. Shout out Banco Bradesco, one of my favorites.
Got Dutch insurance. Shout out
That's
to
that
the
music.
Dutch.
Look, you got China. Whew. Canada. All right.
All right, that's enough. I just want to give a shout out to the Dutch. I was watching a documentary last night on
Yeah. A lot of documentaries for you. Was it documentary Thursday night?
I watch documentaries, you know that.
Yeah, I know.
I don't watch like your sitcoms like you guys like. I watch I was watching just a documentary on the Dutch. The Dutch were badass, man. These Dutch.
In what way?
In every way. The Greeks like to say they invented capitalism. I'm pretty sure it was the Dutch though, right?
Liars.
Somebody's lying there. Greeks like to take the credit for a lot of things, and they do deserve credit for a lot of things, but I think the Dutch are the ones that invented the capitalism. They were just crushing it. Remember, don't forget, New York was originally New Amsterdam. Right? Shout out to the snobby New Yorkers out there. In fact, there's a building down in Bowling Green, down in the financial district, that was built by the Dutch back in the 1600s. Right now, it's like the Native American Museum or some shit like that. But like back in the day, this was like a trading post situation. Dude, this building is beautiful, man. Beautiful building down in Bowling Green. Shout out to the Dutch.
Bowling Green, the oldest park in New York City.
Is that true, Spencer? That is a fun fact. Very fun fact. Because Battery Park did not exist. Battery Park was just water. And then they filled it in with garbage and dead horses. And that's the Battery Park that you know today. So the fact that Bowling Green's older, that makes all the sense in the world, Spencer. Look at that. Adding value right there. Adding value. All right, I'm going to the beach. See you guys.
Wait, is Louis? Louis, are you here? Not yet. Louis is joining us. Kenny is joining us, allegedly. Louis sent over some charts, I think. Did he? Yes, he just did. Okay. Louis will be on in a minute. And then.
So, hey, Spencer.
Yes.
So, Rocket Mortgage is buying Redfin?
One of them. If you tell me it's Rocket, okay, then sure. I knew it was one of them. I didn't know which one, but okay.
$12.50 a share.
Okay, so what's the question?
Stock's not trading like they're getting acquired.
It's probably an all stock deal. So, I'll check it out right now. Is it? I would assume it's an all stock deal. If Redfin is not trading like it's getting acquired, that means it's probably there's probably a ratio there. Let's see what we got. Redfin is getting acquired for.
It's supposed to close in the second or third quarter. It doesn't look like it. I don't know. That's interesting because I like the Redfin chart, and it's not a stock that's acting like it's about to be acquired.
Wait,
interesting.
1 second.
I like the Zillow too.
I can't find the exact headline. Oh, there it is. Okay, so it is a. Yeah, it's an all stock deal. Okay, so 12. So So $12.50 per share is like what the deal is valued at, but it is an all stock deal. So that means that Redfin will trade with whatever Rocket does. Redfin will do.
Yep.
So
Got
what's the ratio there? I'll just get to that real fast. The ratio is did they say what the ratio is? No, I don't know if they said in that press release. Unless I'm skimming it real fast and I can't. Okay, whatever. Doesn't matter.
You want to talk about bonds, Spencer, or like?
Not really. Can we talk? Can we talk to Kenny real fast and then do some Crypto Friday?
Yeah, sure.
I want to know if Kenny's buying the Gap. The Gap is gapping down. I want to know if Kenny's buying that. So we'll see. Let's find out.
It's been a long time coming. They ain't come from my club, they took it. Putting up numbers, 99 problems, and I still kept it 100. Hold up. Yeah.
Are we buying the Gap this morning, Kenny?
No.
Oh,
But have you heard about this new service? You could send Trump $20 and he'll just tweet out anything that you want him to say. So I came in short the NQ futures and it wasn't looking good. So I sent my $20. I said, say something crazy about tariffs again. Come on, man. And immediately he responds and nice. I mean, this is the best service ever. By the way, I mean,
what? The NQ have barely moved. What are you talking about?
Are you kidding me? We had this awesome sell-off, man.
You're talking about okay. Yeah. From like 4 in the morning until that was yesterday. What?
Oh, it was just now. What are you doing?
Yeah. I have to zoom in. I didn't even see it. I have to zoom in on my chart.
Yeah, I came in a little.
All right. Yeah, just now at 7 a.m. I had to zoom way in to see that.
Exactly. My bearish just got the best of me yesterday. I actually stayed short a little bit overnight, and of course I was disappointed. And then I just had I had to send my $20 and $20 in a tweet, man, changed my day.
It's my fault. I don't have my 1 minute charts open by default. I have a 15-minute chart up, so I didn't even see the dip you're referring to. Didn't even register. 15-minute chart.
Yeah.
But if you zoom way in, it is there. Okay.
Good times. I love Twitter. I remember when Twitter first came out. I still call it Twitter, by the way, kids.
Yeah.
I was like, "Ooh, we could actually talk to like famous people. Maybe they respond." I remember who was the first person that responded to me. I think somebody from Saturday Night Live. I was like, "This is the greatest thing ever," and now it's not. But yeah, I'm glad he tweeted that for me. So I'm liking the volatility. But of course, it was a faux show, bro, and you had to cover inevitably. But
yeah, that dip lasted about a candle and a half on the 15-minute chart.
Right, we're back to 7 minutes in heaven. You ever play that when you were a kid?
Okay. Kenny.
All right. So it's 7 minutes in heaven. You get 7 minutes to be a shorter, and then you gotta get out of the room and run and tell your friends what you did with that. You know the story. Spin the bottle.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So this is what it's like. You never know. It's almost like spin the bottle. Yeah. Woo! You never know what's gonna happen. Which tweet's gonna happen this morning? Let's go. All right. Oh, bad tweet.
Kenny, I came in this morning. I was looking at where the action is, and it is all in the Rigettis, the Ion Qs. Heavy volume this morning in the D wave. Right, 3.5 million shares almost have traded. Anything going on there? Because it's super active, and they're all down.
I'm telling you, man. I'm looking for reasons to short. And again, the quantum ran out of steam about 2 days ago. Qs ran out of steam kind of yesterday. Yesterday was a really important day. We actually had the makings of a blow off top, amazing amounts of bullishness, and that resulted in some selling. So I'm looking for it again. If there's a tweet might get in the way of what I think is going to happen today, but if UVXY stays green, I'm going to stay short. I'm short right now, the Qs. And I'm just looking for some more to the downside. But if we do break the pre-market lows, we're looking for 512.50 on the Qs. That's where my focus is. And again, core weave is what I think is going to happen to this market. Did you guys see what happened on the core weave? Blow off top, that thing rolled over. There was no buyers anywhere on earth, and that thing just gave way. I think
that's weird. That's weird that it happened though. What time did that happen?
It was later in the day. Yeah,
it was right smack in the middle of the day. Was there must have been a headline or something, because you don't usually see a stock at 12:30 or 1 o'clock just fall out of bed like that, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There was a lot of rug pulls yesterday. Just the sellers were there for the first time. These weren't just profit takers. They were more. It seemed a little bit more aggressive. So
Bizarre.
I'm in that camp from yesterday. So again, I'll probably be wrong about staying short because it just can't stay short this market. But back to the gap. I've been having some luck with the retailers. I didn't even know Gap was still publicly traded. What's the symbol? Is it still GPS?
It is not. It is Gap now.
Oh, it's back to
I still type in GPS though. Sometimes I forget,
Right.
but it is Gap.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah. If I was looking at this about an hour ago, I'd have been buying it. But, it kind of looks like it ran out of steam. But above 24.50, I'm a fan, and plus I like stocks that are gapped down on earnings. So, yeah, I'll keep an eye on it.
It's
There's also one other one, Tiger, Chinese retailer. If you guys know about Tiger, they pretend to be the Robin Hood of China, which is just two Chinese kids dressed as Robin Hood and sitting in a closet trading stocks. So you just never know, but Tiger reported earnings, so it might be active. And listen, our best trade yesterday was Kohl's. I mean, that was awesome. You had a double top break at 885. We were long that stock, and then we got out almost near the highs. If I was savvy enough, I would have been shorting that thing on the way down. But I'm looking at Kohl's again today because that was a lot of activity. So big fan, KSS. See what happens today.
Yeah. Well, if you traded Kohl's, you should have known that the gap is still around, right? Because they're both one of the.
I didn't even know the symbols. Yeah,
yeah. All right.
GPS.
In Jeff Mackey's opinion, the floor is in on a lot of these beaten down retail names, and they're all going to get bought out for just like Foot Locker just got acquired, Skechers got acquired, so he's betting on buyouts.
Okay.
In retail land. So we'll see what happens. But hitthebid.com, Kenny, you're out all next week. Is that true?
Yeah, so I was going to just compliment how handsome Strazza was and how intelligent he was and beg him to maybe do some airtime. By the way, that blue shirt was stunning, my friend, with that white hat match right there. I'm digging it, man. You look like a Guido from 1987. I love it. You driving an IROC? No, but seriously, Strazza, are you around? You hear me? Come and do some airtime in the Hit the Bid room because you're right there with me the way I trade. I love the ideas. Hey, what's up? There he is.
I've been waiting for you. I've been waiting for you to invite me to do something with you for 3 years.
Oh, look, really? I sent it out there. You don't even want to be on the morning show with me anymore. You disappear every time I come on.
No, I got you. Whatever you need, man. Let me know.
Because
That'd be awesome.
I remember when we first started talking about the Andy Dufresne, and you gave me like 15 charts that kind of fit the criteria. I was like, this guy knows what he's talking about. Yeah, and we were kicking ass on those trades. Yeah, but I'm going away. Finally, gonna take a break. Me and the boy. This is my boy right there with his fancy desk. We started trading day 3 in his punishment. But I'm going to Bermuda, play some golf with the family. So if you're around,
wow.
I got
Bermuda, huh? Bull market vacation.
Yeah, there you go. Right. Try to play some golf. He's shooting 85s. I don't think I've ever broke 120. So
really 85. That's good. Yeah. You got to get out there with him.
I know. I'm scared. You play golf? You do, right?
Yeah. Not well, but often.
Right on.
Golf plays Steve is really what is what happens.
Well, seriously, if you're available, again, if you want to do like a quick half hour or an hour just to introduce yourself, and again, you do look at charts the same way I do, and I know your ideas are awesome. So, talk to Spence. The room will be open, and we'll try to get you in there.
Awesome, we'll do it.
Yeah, right. Thank you,
Kenny. Enjoy Bermuda.
Yeah,
play
some golf.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. I used to hang out in Kenny's room a while back, and I'll tell you, what a blast. I have friends who are there every day still. So that'll be fun.
All right, let's bring out Mr. Sykes. It's Crypto Friday, and see what he's watching. I hope it's Ethereum.
And it is.
Got my fingers on the pulse, avocado and toast.
Morning, guys. Just in the back there, just listen to some Steve Lacy, just having a look at some charts, just having a good time. It's there's a lot happening in the market. You gotta say, what am I watching? These Bitcoin corporate treasuries. I think that's where a lot of the talk is in the town right now. You got Metaplanet, so I'm watching Metaplanet. There's a lot happening, even though Bitcoin's looking that it's failing this breakout. There's a lot happening out there.
Okay, so hold on, and I know you just started doing work on this. You're really diving into these MicroStrategy like plays, and you're going to write a report on it. But like, what are your initial thoughts? What has you kind of looking into the space? What is it that you're hearing? Because the price action hasn't been so great, at least just recently, right? Like, what do you think you're going to find?
I want you guys to pull up the meta chart planet. It's that black chart that I sent you. I know that black charts are almost a little bit heresy around here, but just bear
What
with
is
me.
Meta Planet?
So Meta Planet is a Japanese stock, and so they're
Okay.
basically taking the MicroStrategy playbook where their underlying business is really just
MTPLF? This is MTPLF. I'm looking at the right thing.
yes.
Okay.
Yep. So it trades OTC in the United States, but they're basically taking the same approach as MicroStrategy, where again
Wow.
their underlying business is actually rather small relative to their Bitcoin holdings. And they are trading at a significant premium, right? So everybody was talking about the premium that MicroStrategy was trading at relative to their Bitcoin holdings. Steve, do you know the number at what it, where it was at its highest for MicroStrategy? I think it was like three times, right?
In terms of the premium?
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but probably. That sounds about
Yeah.
right. But Louis,
Metaplanet's trading at
what's that?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Metaplanet's trading at a 5x premium. So in other words, if you're buying Metaplanet, you are essentially paying $500,000 per Bitcoin. That's basically the premium that it's trading at. So obviously that carries a lot of risk. If sentiment begins to unwind and the valuation begins to compress, that's obviously there's a lot of downside there. But then again, on the flip side, if the market is doing really well, then as you've seen here, it's almost trading at a 5x beta to Bitcoin. And so, you know, you have a look at Metaplanet's stock on days where it's popping off, it's up, you know, damn near 100% on single days. And so the thesis is really simple. I want to have a look at all of these corporate treasuries, and I've just compiled all of these publicly traded stocks around the world that are holding Bitcoin and their corporate treasuries, having a look at their premium to NAV, understanding whether their underlying businesses are being valued quite high or whether they're quite negligible. And then from there, just trying to find the best opportunities. Because look, if Bitcoin's going from 100K to 155K, which is our next target, that's a 50% return. That's a nice trade. That's fantastic. We can always juice that up, and we can always juice it up with options, or we can have a look at some of these underlying stocks. MicroStrategy has been a really good example of that. I want to have a look at some other players because, as you can see here with Metaplanet, there are some juicier trades underneath the surface.
I think this is great. And it's the right way to analyze these story stocks. And somebody in the chat just said, does that mean there's no moat if anyone can copy MicroStrategy? I think that's sarcasm, but it is funny. And this Metaplanet, Louis, it's up 8,000% from last year's lows. Compare that with something like MicroStrategy, which is only up 700%. I mean, holy cow.
Only 700%. Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about these things. What do you think about just the overall weakness from MicroStrategy lately, in the sense that in bull markets, I'm used to MicroStrategy being at new highs
Right.
first, not Bitcoin, right? So this time around, these new highs for Bitcoin are a little bit different in that way. Do we make anything of that, or am I just thinking too hard?
No, I mean I'm really curious about that as well. I don't really notice many people talking about that, but what Steve was talking about is as Bitcoin was breaking out to all-time highs, what was MicroStrategy doing? It was backing off a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I think generally speaking, my outlook for crypto right now, just in the short term, the next few weeks, it looks like this is turning into a bit of a failed start. I want you to pull up that Bitcoin chart, please.
Yeah.
And we're looking to break out, and then again, momentum's beginning to wane a little bit. We're back below 108, which is my level. And so with all the developments happening underneath the surface, just in terms of risk appetite, right? We're talking a lot about international equities. Look at Greece. Greece is nearly at all-time highs on a dividend adjusted basis. Europe's just on fire. We're seeing rotation into all of these markets around the world. That's obviously fantastic. That's very risk on.
Yeah.
And so generally the backdrop is we're in a risk on environment. And so is Bitcoin going to be collapsing from here in that context? I don't necessarily think so. I think the high probability outcome is that this is going to turn into more of a failed start than a failed breakout, and we just go back down to zero. And so I think just giving it a little bit of time just to gear up and just to consolidate these next few weeks, and then viewing any potential weakness from here, whether it manifests or not, as a level to start buying some high conviction trades. And so that's partly why I want to do this exercise with these Bitcoin corporate treasuries.
Yeah.
Is we do get some weakness, and we are really gearing up for this big explosive move to 155K, which is our next target. I think now's the time to begin looking for some opportunities like that.
You think a little chop here would be good? Like
Yeah.
a nice little bull flag forming right here at this big level, right?
Have a look at ETH as well. I want you to pull up Ethereum, please.
Yeah,
And again,
nice. Little failure. Yeah, a little false start.
a nice little failure. And so the momentum in the short term, I think, is beginning to wane right as Bitcoin is breaking out. That's not particularly a good thing that you want to see into a breakout. So again, I just think this is a failed start. Just give it a few weeks to let it consolidate, and then in that time, just go about looking for some opportunities.
And then just even from a even deeper price action perspective, I will overthink, individual candlesticks sometimes. This is one of the short-term leaders now, right? Trying to resolve a coil higher, failing for now. And then if you look at some others, Ripple kind of has this look to it, Solana to a lesser degree, but you got these little shakes, right, to new multi-week lows, maybe tests of key VWAPs from the lows from a month ago, shook below them, and that's how a lot of moves will often start in crypto. But this is just like a little sloppy chop here, where the good ones are failing to break out higher from their ranges, and then the little weaker ones are failing to break out lower, and it's just looks like more sideways for now.
Yeah. I mean, another good example is Hyperliquid. I know everybody's talking about that.
Hyperliquid.
Yeah. So ticker
Huh.
symbol HYPE, HYPE.
That's a cool ticker. That's a nice symbol.
Yeah. So I mean, even again, like this has been a relative leader. It's up 4x
wow.
from the lows, and again, it's just failing to hold that breakout. And so even though
Is
the
this
leaders are
new?
failing to,
Is this new, Louis, or just don't have all the data? This
yeah,
came
it's
out?
relatively new, and so a lot of my smart networks are talking about this one.
Huh.
There's a lot of hype in behind this one, no pun intended. And
Haha.
so
Well, sometimes that's good in this space, is it not?
yeah, totally. And so they what they've done is basically, um, it's really difficult to exchange it at size and at scale on a decentralized exchange,
Yeah.
because again, the mechanics of how a decentralized exchange like Uniswap or Jupiter works is infinitely different to how a centralized exchange works. But what Hyperliquid is basically doing is becoming a decentralized derivatives exchange. So they're applying the same order book model to DeFi, so they're making it a little bit more scalable. It's a little bit out of my pay grade, so I need to do a little bit more research on it. But I know that everybody's talking about this one.
It's cool. You won't find many cryptos besides Bitcoin making new all-time highs.
Yeah, yeah.
And how are the pets doing? Talk to me about my pets. I bought a bunch of pets. I knew it was a short-term top because I was doing it, so that was the best signal you could get. But am I okay in the Pepe and the whatever the hell else I bought?
So I heard a really interesting comment in one of our strategy sessions where someone noted that the ETH memes relative to the Solana memes. And obviously we look at ETH relative to Solana, but that's one thing I hadn't really thought about, was actually just having a look at the meme coins that are on the Ethereum network relative to the memes that are on the Solana network.
Yeah.
And so that'll be really interesting, right? Because I'm bullish Ethereum. I think that Ethereum outperforms for the rest of 2020.
So what are some of the popular memes on ETH?
I mean, like the big ones, right? Like Pepe,
Oh,
Pep, yeah. And so that's on Ethereum, and so
what's
it'll
the
be
dog
really
with
interesting to
hat?
see because what's that?
What's the dog with hat? Is that ETH or Solana?
I'm not sure. And again, like that, just that observation of ETH memes relative to Solana memes
Solana.
kind of caught me off guard, right? Because I do all my meme coin trading on Solana. I'd never really trade memes at all on ETH because
Wow.
all the cool kids are on Solana. That's where all the activity is taking place. So do we
Right.
get some sort of quiet renaissance in the ETH meme space for the next wee while? I don't know.
Okay. No, that's interesting. Bonk does not look good. I'll say that much.
Let me have a look at Bonk. It's been a while since I've looked at some of these meme coins.
I'll tell you,
yeah.
I don't want the ones that are breaking WAP from the April lows. I'm trying to keep it that simple. I'm reducing exposure out here, which I might today over the short term. I'm cutting based on what is breaking VWAPs from the April lows. Simple as that.
Yeah. Look at MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy is right there. That anchor VWAP at the May lows.
That's it.
April lows, should I say?
Like I'm in a lot of these things for trades, and if those levels go, see ya. Yeah, I gotta clean a little bit here today. It looks like.
Jason in chat, check out Rect. So this is.
That's isn't that means something? That's crypto. Isn't that in the crypto dictionary?
Isn't that in the traditional finance parlance? If you're Rect, isn't that just the?
No.
Really?
No, because also we spell words correctly, and that is not how you spell rect.
That's probably true. That's a good observation. Look at this Rect. I mean, this thing.
There you go. Here's a good list of some ETH coins: Shiba, Pepe, Floki, and I've never heard of Turbo. I'm a lot of new names today for me. This is great.
Yeah.
Crypto Fridays are the best.
Yeah, hell yeah. Shiba, Pepe, Floki, Turbo, ETH memes. Where is Turbo these days? I'm just having a look at some charts while I'm on here. And again, it looks like it's breaking down a little bit. And so again, just a little bit of patience in crypto land for now, and just let the short-term rinse take place, and then just look for some opportunities.
I think that's some wise talk, Louis. So you've been more or less just sitting on your hands, letting the stuff shake itself out.
Yeah, and just sitting on my existing positions, and again, just not really rushing into anything, and just.
You know, I was telling breakout multiplier members that yesterday. You know, it's like we can get cute here. You know, you want to go buy some index puts and hedge yourself. Probably not the right move. Hard to get downside follow through in this market for the last month and a half. Said just sit on what you got and let the market work for you. You know, sometimes that's the best thing to do.
Yeah, and just go for a hike. I mean, can't really be doing that this weekend, man. Like, there's this bloody storm outside. It's crazy over here. I mean, I'm right next to Antarctica, right? So we get these like massive winds. So yes, sometimes I can't really go for a hike, so I have to sit inside. Then I'm like, okay, well maybe I should just do some trading because I'm inside all day.
Go to the range. How's the golf game coming along?
I went to the range yesterday actually,
Did
and
you?
I gotta say I was so bloody impressed. I like every time I go to the range, right? Like I just absolutely butcher the first few shots. But I got there and I was hitting just perfect, just straight. And so, but then again, it's almost a mental game, right? So every time I go on and I play it actually on the course itself, it's obviously different to the range, right? Because for everyone watching, I'm a rookie, right? I'm only just getting into golf. And so I'm still like so anxious to go into to actually play a game myself, because it's like, well, what if I just like absolutely bottle it into somebody else? I don't really know. And so then it's like a mental game, right? And so I'm still anxious. I'm still anxious about that.
It is such a challenging sport. It's such a fun mental exercise for reasons like that. But you go to the range, and eventually you'll get comfortable holding that club, and that anxiety will lessen, right, as you feel more and more comfortable. And you'll get that from just repetition. Just keep going back. That's great. Love to hear it.
Yeah. Get you posted.
Louis, I can't wait to see this report you're working on next week or whenever it's
done. Great.
I want a sneak peek.
Yeah, this weekend. I'll send you some charts.
Ooh.
Like always.
Nice. All right, Louis.
All right. Thanks a lot, Louis.
Cheers, guys.
All right. Let's you want to hop early, Steve? I mean, it's basically a summer Friday, right? Summer started last weekend. You know what I mean?
Nobody's listened to us. Nobody wants to talk to us. I think we covered all the big stuff. You know, here, before we go, Kenny's probably right. So at what time was it? Like 8:10, I think. 8:10, we got a tweet, and this was the little volatility that Spencer had to zoom in to see. It was
Dude,
a little.
it didn't even register on my chart. That's how little of a move it was.
It's fine. Probably not a big deal. I mean, look, this would be the third mild down day if we, lost another. What, we're down 0.3% right now on the future. So the market, despite all of this fuss for the past 3 days, has barely budged if you're looking at the S&P 500. But anyway, 8:10. Trump did tweet, we do have some big VWAP levels coming out, say right around like this 5,900 level. So watching the 5,900 really closely, 58.90 even. And then you got those pivot lows down there, 58.80. Anyway, 2 weeks ago, China was in grave economic danger. The very high tariffs I set made it virtually impossible for China to trade into the United States. Who do you think is helping him choose what he's capitalizing? Because there doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason for why certain words are capitalized. For example,
that's how you know he wrote it.
Okay, which is by far #1 in the world. We went, in effect, cold turkey, capitalized turkey, with China, and it was devastating for them. Many factories closed, and there was, to put it mildly, civil unrest. I saw what was happening and didn't like it. I made a fast deal with China in order to save them from what I thought was going to be a very bad situation. You didn't want that. You didn't want to see that happen. Because of this deal, everything stabilized quickly. China got back to business as usual. Everybody was happy. We fact checked that. It's true. That is good news. The bad news is that China, perhaps not surprisingly, has totally violated its, now we're capitalized. It's totally violated its agreement with the US. So much for being Mr. Nice Guy.
Now that I think about it, it wouldn't shock me if Trump had a designated tweeter, like kind of like Magic Johnson. You know how Magic Johnson doesn't tweet; he just like
he would dictate.
He dictates, and then he has got a person. Maybe that wouldn't shock me if Trump did that also.
Can the humanoids do that? Can Tesla robots do that for us?
Oh my God. Danny is halfway to replacing all of us at the moment with like all of our jobs with AI. So yes, it can do a lot, it turns out. Oh
no, not Danny.
Yeah, dude, Danny's gonna replace himself if he's not careful. He's gonna replace himself and me and you and I don't know if you saw last night, but he was posting some videos in Slack, videos of JC, but they weren't JC, but they sounded an awful lot like JC. Kind of weird, but anyway, all right. I have a recess actually.
I have a take on that. That shit's never gonna work. That's the one thing AI is never going to be able to replace. Okay, AI is going to be able to do accounting. It's going to look through legal documents. It already can do all of that stuff. It can't have original thought. I don't like the way it writes. I don't like the way it thinks. I don't like the way it even answers questions. Original thought is still going to be really difficult for a robot.
Yeah.
To steal.
Yeah, but you can look and sound like someone, so it's close enough, right?
It's scary, man.
Yeah,
it's really scary out there.
All right, Bill says, of course Trump has a tweeter. Okay, I didn't know. Sorry, didn't know that. I hadn't thought about it before, but yeah, it would make logical sense. He's not the guy on his phone doing the thing. Anyway, okay, I have a recess, and then we'll hop out.
Yeah, go ahead. We're good.
I want to give a shout out to all my lovely coworkers who got me this card. Looks like when they were in New Orleans, everyone in a card for me, which I got. I don't know when it actually arrived, but we check my mail like once a week, so I got it yesterday. But who checks their mail? Come on, honestly. But thank you guys. It was so nice, so sweet, and unexpected. So this was great. Thank you for the card. I appreciate it. It says sometimes the smallest things take up the most room in your heart. And that's a quote from Winnie the Pooh. And my wife loves Winnie the Pooh, so it was appropriate.
We actually did miss you in New Orleans, Spencer.
Oh,
it was strange not having you around.
Appreciate
and
it.
Yes, big congratulations, Daddy.
So we're looking like, just for those keeping score at home, our due date is Sunday. I would definitely take the over at the rate we're going. So maybe I'll see you guys on Monday. How about that? But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Strazza, do you want to do 2 minutes on bonds?
Yeah, I just saw that from Harmander. Look, I sent a note out yesterday. If we have it and we could drop it in the chat, you could get a little more than 2 minutes there and all my thoughts. I think bonds, they're digging in here. Yields are pulling off of some key levels, especially the longer end of the curve. I think there's a big trading opportunity here. And then I don't know much about how I feel after that. Right. So I'm very long some short dated TLT calls. I'm in stuff like TMF. And I do think there's more room to run higher here for those vehicles. I don't know how much I feel from a primary trend perspective or if this actually turns into a big reversal. I think that would be a general positive. And I'm leaning in that direction, right? That bonds, something like TLT eventually looks more like ARC, right? And comes out of a big base, but there's a lot of work to do. Right. Yeah. So that chart would show that. Right. So these have moved in different directions for a little bit too long. I think stocks are going to be right. You're going to see a catch-up move here from bonds. home builders, banks, biotechs, those kinds of groups probably get a nice bid if the scenario I'm describing is to play out. And
All
happy
right.
Friday, everybody. Go Knicks.
Happy Friday. Go Knicks for the time being. We'll see what happens over the weekend. We'll be back on Monday with a new guest on the show. Brian London, who was with y'all in New Orleans, I hear. So Brian London will be on our show on Monday. Awesome. We'll have Todd Stone on Tuesday, Brian Lund on Wednesday. It's confusing. Then we'll have Matt Caruso Thursday and Doug Bonaparte on Friday. So that's what we got going on next week on the morning show. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the comments and the likes and the questions and the love and the hate, and we love it all. Appreciate it. So have a great weekend. Get outside if you can. Go make some money. We'll see you guys on Monday.
Bye, buddy.
I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, I can't take no loss. I don't even know